Welcome to Born on the Bayou Sports, a Houston sports show made for Houstonians by Houstonians. Join Tim Costello and Scott Barzilla every week as they break down the latest in Houston Astros, Rockets, and Texans news. Tim's a former minor league broadcaster, and Scott has written 2 books on the Baseball Hall of Fame. Yeah, if Javier could get it figured out, it would make things a lot easier because he was that guy everybody was counting on this year to be a Cy Young candidate, take that big step forward and help anchor this rotation with Fromber.
Since he's come to Houston, you can look at the development of guys like Carlos Correa defensively, Jeremy Pena defensively. I mean, you can Alex Bregman's, certainly I think a better than average third baseman.
And now you're putting teams in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9. Now here comes Will Anderson. Pin back your ears, let's go. So if you're Bayou born and bred, or just like spending time in the H, sit down, relax, and stay Houston strong. Hello, Scott. I am back. Hello, back in Texas after spending some time in sunny Florida, baby.
There you go. You're back in Destin?
We were back in Destin. My, probably 22nd or 23rd trip to Destin now in my life. Been going since I was 5. Take some years off for your late 20s, mid 20s, but now as a family man again, I am back on the white beaches and emerald waters of the Gulf Coast. And what did they say? It felt like when Prince says, purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka, right? Like I'm just going to purify myself in the waters of the Gulf Coast, of the Emerald Coast. Man, that water feels fantastic. You can see straight down. It's crazy. That's the same Gulf of Mexico that we have in Galveston, Scott. But boy, does it look a lot better. The beach looks a lot better. It's insane to see what they've done to that city over the years. Just as when we were going there, it was a very small little beach town, and you can still see a lot of the smaller resorts like the ones we have a timeshare at. That's only 2 stories tall, right on the beach. It's been there forever. But then right next to us, there's a 25-story mega resort. And on the other side, there's a 13, you just seen the landscape of this place change over time. But 14 hours there, 13 hours back. Big Daddy knocked out all but 1 on the road. So, they don't even let truckers do that, Scott.
No. The last time we were there, oh gosh, Janet and I had just gotten married, I think. So this is actually predates Ann. So, yeah, it's been a while since it probably looked pretty small.
Say that again, Scott?
And last time we were there is probably 21, 22 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay. You'd be shocked.
Yeah, it's been a while. But I was going to say, the Astros have taken a lot of shit over their chase the fight slogan.
Oh, here we go. Opening question. Hang on. Let me change our moniker here. There we go.
So my opening question revolves around some of the worst taglines in advertising history. And the one I heard just recently, you're familiar with Richard Karn, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
From Home Improvement fame?
Yes.
Wheel of Fortune. Not Wheel. Family Feud.
Family Feud.
So how about this one? I'm Richard Karn, and everybody loves my hose.
That's pretty good. I'm Tim Allen. Don't tell me any secrets.
Is that a real one, or are you just making that up off the?
Oh, his was a real one. I thought that was.
This Richard Karn is a real one.
No, I made mine up.
He's got one of those like expanding hoses, that kind of,
gotcha.
Fills up. So everybody loves his hose.
I thought you were just giving me a good. I thought I made one up on the spot there because Tim Allen's with them as well.
So I was looking at the Astros tagline. We've talked about
let me run through some for you then because I do have some.
Yeah.
Ryan Seacrest uses Seacrest out. I think that's okay. Hulk Hogan What's she gonna do when Hulkmania runs wild on you?
My favorite is you. Have you seen the black comedian that's on the Daily Show?
Which like Trevor Noah?
No, this is after. He's like correspondent. He's not one of the
Oh,
anchors.
okay. I don't watch a ton of Daily Show.
He's a comedian. Obviously all of them are comedians. And so on his stand-up show, he was talking about the fact that it wasn't until he was 7 years old and he found out that tanning was actually a thing. And so he thought Hulk Hogan was black. He's like, "Wait, there's a black wrestler. He's one of us."
Okay, how about another wrestler? Because I'm the Miz and I'm awesome. And then this one isn't like these are more, I guess, just taglines or like things they're famous for. Paris Hilton, that's hot.
Oh yeah.
Jersey Shore, Gym Tan Laundry, GTL. I can't say anything negative about that one. You got Winning from Charlie Sheen.
Oh, sure.
And then Lindsay Lohan, Rumors Are Carried by Haters.
Oh, yes.
So that's some of the ones I have.
So we brought up the Chase the Fight thing. And I was thinking that next year, obviously, there's probably not going to be baseball. Well, let's assume there's baseball. Let's be optimistic. What do you think of Sweep the Leg?
I like Strike First, Strike Hard, No Mercy.
Well, but if you're going like if it has to be a 3-word tagline.
I don't think it does, though, because like when I specifically remember one from my childhood that was Root for the Good Guys. It was from the Brick Red days, but I remember and I'm like, I love that we've just positioned like we're the good guys to root for the good guys. Like, yeah, fuck yeah, everybody else sucks. But no, like I don't think it always has to be.
In the Dome, the Dome days, there was Let's Raise the Roof.
Okay.
So that's a little bit more than.
I mean, I feel like right now we're fighting the chase, but that's a whole other fucking. Every time we get back into chase, I feel like the way the Astros are playing right now, and maybe this is the perfect analogy because what I'm waiting for is what happens later in the film, or really later in the scene. But Top Gun, right? It's a great movie. You and I both.
Goose is dead.
Goose is already dead. Goose is dead at this point. Okay. They get him back out there at the end. They're graduated. He barely graduates. There's a mission to go to. Iceman's fucking up there fighting for his goddamn life. He's asking for, they launch Maverick, right? And he's asking for it. Engage, god damn it, and fucking engage. That's us, right? We're Iceman. We're fighting for our life as fans. So we're just fucking engage, god damn it, god damn it, god damn it. Like that is just every game. And they're in the fight, but they're not really, they're not really, they're chasing the fight. They're not in the fight. They're chasing it. But at some point, Maverick, he rubs the dog tags, and he gets in the fight and kicks ass. So what I'm waiting for is to get in the fight and start kicking ass. I'm wondering if maybe taking down Fromber was the moment that Maverick actually does engage, and this could be a new Astros, but who the fuck knows? We've said that so many times.
We keep telling ourselves that. And, actually I was thinking, take the over might be a good 3-word tagline.
I don't think unless Brendan Sorsby throwing out your first pitch on opening day that's a good idea. But okay, Scott.
Who did they make a deal? They made a deal with it wasn't DraftKings. It was something like 7 or 8 teams made a deal with one of these, where the companies that sell like not only the sports betting but like all kinds of betting.
The Calci or whatever it is.
Yeah, well, I can't remember the name of the company, but it was like the Dodgers, the Astros, the Red Sox. Your major market teams are selling, sponsorships and that. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of finances they get from that. But so obviously, I know you at least paid attention to what happened today. So you beat the Tigers 2 out of 3.
Yep. Beat Fromber.
Didn't we beat? Did we beat the Royals 2 out of 3, or was that 1 out of 3?
Took 2 out of 3 from the Royals.
So that's 2 series in a row.
Mm-hmm. Did Maverick engage? Has Maverick finished rubbing the fucking dog tags, and is he back in the fight, or are we still chasing the fight?
Well, the problem is that I think he's intermittent fighting. Like we'll fight, and then all of a sudden, Sunday will come, and it's like, oh, we're gonna send like Wall-Eyed from. Remember Hot Shots? Did you ever see Hot Shots? Wall-Eyed.
Yeah.
We're sending in John Cryer in place.
I think it's time for Cougar to get. I think it's time for Cougar to get back up there. Mav, you sit this one out. Jester. I know Jester's just normally there as a training flyer, but he's itching. He's itching to fly a mission. Let's get codename Jester back up in the air.
Let's get Tom Scared up there. It's been 20 years since he's flown. That's okay.
What was his?
I can't remember what his call sign.
Jester was the little shit that was I think Viper, call sign Viper.
Yeah.
Was Tom. Hey, we got this Charlie who's never even had a chance to fly. Maybe we get her out there, Mav. Maybe you take a fucking seat, Mav, and Charlie's gonna get out there. You've killed like 27 fucking MiGs this week. All right. Let's let Charlie kill some MiGs. She needs to learn about them. Okay. Sit down.
It's Sunday, man. It's your day off.
You've earned it. You've earned it, Mav. You've had a great 2 days of killing MiGs. Do you really need to do it on Sunday? Do you really need to get him? No, just take the day. All right, it's my turn to ask you a question, Scott. And the question is, should the Astros be buyers? You're under 500, but at the same time, you are winners of 4 of your last 6, especially. You're playing better baseball. You've got Hunter Brown back. Christian Javier's coming back. Don't know how I feel about that. You've got the pieces that are going to be in place for the long run on this team are mostly healthy, right? Your cornerstones of winning, as far as, guys that are going to play every day. Christian Walker's healthy. Paredes is healthy. Jeremy Pena is healthy. Christian Vasquez is healthy. Yainer Diaz is healthy. Hunter Brown is healthy. Yordan Alvarez is healthy. Josh Hader is healthy. So with that being said, and all these things pointing in the right direction, you're only, 3.5, 4 games out of first place. Is it even with the win today, it's still 4?
It's still 4.
Okay. So you're 4 games out of first place in a division that no one really seems to want, right? Like there's the Mariners are finally above 500. They're the only team. Even if you can't catch the Mariners necessarily, the wild card's still, that third wild card's still in play. Do you buy?
As of now, no. And the main reason is because we were coming into June in a soft spot of the schedule, and they've kind of hit through this 500. We were kind of hoping, hey, maybe, and some of that, a lot of that was what it would call managerial losses, like, Spada blowing a game against Milwaukee, and then, you win 2 games in a series and you punt the 3rd game because, it's Sunday fun day. You do that enough times.
Or Wednesday fun day sometimes.
You do that enough times, and because, in our last, we're 5-5 in our last 10. So, yeah, you're not – now, I'm not selling right now. I'm going to keep playing baseball through at least mid-July. And, if the situation changes, then the situation changes. But see, here's the other problem, Tim. What are you going to buy if you were buyers?
A Brian Abreu replacement. I'm sending Brian Abreu to the Mexican League, to the Atlantic League, to the Korean League. I don't fucking care what language he has to learn to compete with his catcher. It's not going to be English anymore if I have anything to say about it, because it's been bad. You can show me whatever numbers that you want to say that he's been better. I'll show you the game that we brought him in extra innings that he immediately blows, And the next game that we bring him in that he's about to blow, when Jeremy Pena makes an unbelievable leaping catch and quick flip for a double play to save the game and the Astros win, right? Like that's a catch you make 3 out of 10 times at best. And it just so happened he made it then. So I'm looking for a better 8th inning guy. I'm looking for maybe a little bit more consistent bat somewhere in the outfield. If it's a center field, if it's a right, I don't really care what position they play because I feel like defensively I've got enough good defensive guys who can all play center in a pinch. I'll move everybody else around. And then we have to kind of answer the Jose Altuve question of it all, which is like, where does he play? If he's going to keep playing second base all year, okay. Time to start hitting like 7th. I hate it, but I'll let Altuve play as long as he wants. I won't talk shit, but I will say, like, time to move down the lineup, right? I think that's fair.
Well, so the problem you've had there is that you've identified 2 needs, and you haven't identified probably the third other need, and that when you take a look at this rotation, right, I think we can agree that, especially after today, that Lambert is nice.
I like Lambert.
Hunter Brown is nice.
He's nice.
Spencer Arrighetti's starting to leak oil his last few outings.
I think he's gotten away from what he was successful with, which was spinning it a lot, and he's kind of gotten more fastball, and he's gotten beat on it.
You got Tang, who's been
not nice
lately. In fact, his velocity went down to 90.5 in the last outing. I think he's got dead arm.
I think he probably is headed for the IL.
And then you've got, Mike Burrows, who I don't know if you saw my article. My article earlier this week where I compared him to Mike Maroth.
So
2003.
I will say, I read an article. Somehow, I don't know how it was allowed, but I read an article from The Atlantic today. It's shocking. I don't have an Atlantic subscription, but I read an article from The Atlantic today that said the Astros noticed his arm angle's off. So they've tried to move him back here from where he was last year. He's throwing his fastball from 2 degrees lower than he was last year, which is a lot. And I know from experience, having seen this before, when Tyler Matzik got off with his arm slot, he was putting about 9 extra base runners on a game between hit batsmen and walks. All it took for Tyler Matzik to get back to major leagues and winning a World Series with the Braves was going from here to here. So I'm not saying that's going to happen to Mike Burrows, but what I am saying is the Astros, at least lately, have seemed to have identified what's going on. So I wouldn't be shocked if there's a chance that maybe we have a little Mike Burrows renaissance down the stretch.
I think he's given up all of his home runs on the 4-seamer. Does that sound right?
I believe so. He's been terrible with the fastball this year, and it makes sense. It's not coming from the same tunnel than it once was.
Well, what I'd like to see him do, and this is something you can't really do mid-season, is I'd like to see him add a cutter.
Get it on righties off from the same arm angle would be nice. I don't mind it.
But the thing is, June is not the time where you sit there, hey, here, throw this slurve. You don't really do that.
But it makes sense, right? Like if the tunneling is off, right? What I mean by that for our listeners who aren't like huge baseball nuts, when your arm angle is right, and I'm trying to get into the camera with it, right? And if everything's coming out of the same arm angle, whether it's fastball, slider, curveball, whatever it is, if it's all coming out the same and it's all starting the same 40 feet, coming at you the same, it's the last 20.5 feet that really make the difference. And that's what makes it so hard with some of these major league guys where they've got pitches that look exactly the same from start to 3/4 of the way and then finish in completely different spots. So for Burrows, a guy with, everybody said great stuff, if his tunneling is off and you can see specifically when the fastball is, hey, everything else comes from here and the fastball comes from over here, it's pretty easy to lay off breaking stuff and hammer fastball in a major league world, Scott. That's no different than tipping.
Well, one thing I'd be interested in knowing is whether or not that arm angle is consistent throughout the game, because he seems to get off to good starts for the most part. And so I wonder if it's something like they're working on it and like he's concentrating on it early in the game. And then when you get into the competition of it all, bad habits kind of set in. And, because it looks like he gets shelled like 4th, 5th, 6th inning.
I mean, it could be, or it could be that's when they kind of notice the arm is different on fastballs. I don't know. I really don't. But I did read that article today, and it did give me a little hope knowing what we went through with Tyler Matzik. I was like, okay, now maybe there's a chance.
But the problem is that so when you add in Tang, when you add in Burrows, and when you add in the fact that Imai was terrible his last time out, and we thought he was making progress, and now he's kind of slid back.
I have a thought on that because I don't necessarily blame him for all of it.
That's 3 guys who you're not sure what you're going to get from them. And this is assuming that Arrighetti and Lambert and Brown are going to be nails, right? That's 3 good starters.
Yeah.
So you could make a case, particularly with all those 3 guys, that getting a 4th starter would be, the most, important thing. But then you look at the fact that I don't know if you saw what our outfield OBP was.
I didn't know.
305. It is the lowest on-base percentage since, I think, 1964 in Astros Colt 45's history.
I don't love that.
So if you want to tell me that, hey, get an outfielder, yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. If you want to tell me, let's get another guy to add to Brian King from the right side, that's actually,
De Los Santos is kind of leaking oil. I know I say kind of. I mean, like, he's a problem.
He's had a couple of good outings in a row here lately. But, yeah, I mean, he's not a guy that you want in the 8th inning.
We don't have without Abreu, this bullpen is incomplete.
Brian King has been good from the left side. I mean, he's got like a 2.60 ERA. If Brian King turns in a 2.60 ERA, I'm like, I'll take it. Okert has been okay. I think Bluebaugh, if you only pitch him 1 inning, has been good. I mean, the problem, you've got a couple of problems in the bullpen. One of them is Brian Abreu. The other problem is you've got a dipshit for a manager that keeps trying to throw these guys 2 innings.
Yeah. And it was excusable at the beginning of the year where no one was lasting 5, but we're getting decent outings, and it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And I do want to talk a little bit more about Imai right now, Scott, because I had some thoughts. I actually was able to watch all the Astros games while I was in Destin, thanks to the fact that I'm a T-Mobile customer. I get MLB for free, which is wonderful. But with that being said, as this was happening and we were scoring all those runs in the first inning, I looked over at my mom and I said, this is the worst starting pitcher for this to be happening to.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking that too.
Right? Like, not only does he have to wait to go out there, he's not going to be as mentally locked in. I think what has been different about Imai was he was so locked in, and now he kind of allowed himself to not lock out, but he kind of just allowed himself to be like, okay, whatever, let's go. I got this. And he wasn't locked in. At the end of the day, that's to me what it was. He went out there with almost, like, I dare to say, too big of a lead, and just kind of from a mental side of things, wasn't the same guy. He just didn't seem like the same guy who went out there to compete at bat in and at bat out because he had such a huge lead.
And I think, but I go back to my point though, if those are your 6 starters, right? There are 3 guys I think you can count on to throw a good game most of the time out. And then you've got 3 guys, and you can say whatever you want about any of them individually. In Imai and Burrows and Tang, who you're just not sure what you're going to get. And you could talk me into, yeah, let's tinker with Burrows. Maybe we can get him right. You can, talk me into, hey, let's skip Tang maybe once in a rotation. Maybe his arm's not dead anymore, and he'll be back to throwing 5 good. Oh, look at Imai. That was one bad outing. He can come back. You could talk me into all of that. But the fact is that half these starters, and that's assuming the other 3 guys never pitch poorly, which, you and I both know is since 2022, Fromber is not going to happen. So that's where you're sitting there telling me, okay, do you want to go for, do you want to add somebody? Okay, great. You're finishing 500 because half your starters might turn out to be dog shit anytime through the rotation.
But at the end of the day, 500 might win this division, Scott. 82 and 80.
Yeah,
80 and 80 wins the division, and then you only need 3 starters.
You're 500 throughout in perpetuity. You're 6 games under now. You're going to have to make. You're going to have to make.
But that's games. Why you go get a guy to get to 82 and 80. That if you win 82 games, you're in competition and win this division. And then at that point, you only need 3 good starters. I'm not saying we win the World Series this year, but I am saying if there's a deal to be made that brings in. I'm going to the Giants. The Giants are giant sellers right now, right? And I don't want Adames. I don't want Devers. I don't want Matt Chapman. You know who I want right now, Scott? Arias. Put him in left field. Let him hit, lead off, and you can move Pena down, into a more, or let him hit second and move. Jordan to third, but give me a guy who perennially hits 300, hits from the left side of the plate, and can play a decent enough left field in Minute Maid Park that I don't have to worry about it.
If you're talking to me, Giants, I'm looking at.
They've got bullpen arms too.
I don't know if they're available, but Robbie Ray or Logan Webb.
I mean, pretty much. I think it's an open fire sale there. Because I don't know what we have that they want with those guys. But at the end of the day, it's an opportunity to at least talk to a team that has a lot of money committed and is probably willing to eat some money for decent prospects. Or if you're willing to take on some money, which we should be in a decent position to do in upcoming years, you can get a good player.
And, if you want to go outside of San Francisco, guy is on my fantasy team, so he has slowed down. Sandy Alcantara. From the Marlins.
Yeah, he's a guy who probably a little bit more expensive.
But I think he's an impending free agent, so you might be able to get him for a little bit less. And then, if you want to, with the Mets deal, who's that Japanese pitcher they have? It's not Senga, is it?
I think it is. It is Senga.
Maybe get Senga, have him room with Imai on the,
I don't know. Knowing how we've handled Imai's arrival, I feel like strongly both ways. Strongly, yes. So, let's get another Japanese pitcher here who's had some success in America, who did a better job of coming over. Let's bring somebody like that in. But then on the other side of things, I'm like, are we really going to fuck up another player and waste money on that?
But he's been here. That would be like us picking up Kikuchi.
Right. That's why I'm strongly mostly a yes. But then in the back of my mind, because he's got to come to Texas, which is different than New York, culturally, you could, probably find a lot more people living in New York from Japan and make a community for yourself than you can in Houston, Texas.
Here's the way I'm looking at it is that I am banging the drum. If you're going to add, which I wouldn't at this point, but if you were, I would add the starting pitcher, because here's what happens. So you go out and you get a starter, whether it's Senga, whether it's Alcantara, whether it's Robbie Ray, or whoever it is. Tang now enters the bullpen. That makes your bullpen deeper, because Tang was very effective in the bullpen. And if you can, choke your manager out before he goes the second inning, then that much better, right? Because, I mean, I think the big problem is, and this is why I wrote that article for Crawfish, is that I think you have the pieces now in the bullpen to make a go of it. Like, I think King is good enough. I think that De Los Santos is not an eighth inning guy, but I think he's good enough for middle relief. I think O'Curt certainly is good enough. I think Blue Ball is good enough. And so the point I was making, Tim, is that I think you have enough guys in the bullpen that if you were to add a Tang, and if you choke out your manager before he lets a guy go out for a second inning, then I think you got a good enough bullpen.
What would you do? Like, is there a way we could like trick Joe Espada into thinking he's watching like a different game? Like, let him write the lineup card, and then like make him accidentally locked in a room. Be like, but hey, we got the feed of the game up. It's the live feed. Just let us know what you need. And like somehow that just like keeps happening to him. And then someone else makes the bullpen, or like the guys just manage themselves. I do have one more thought on the bullpen because, as I mentioned, Javier is going to be coming back.
Oh God!
I think you show Javier nonstop Octavio Dotel highlights, right? Like similar arm angle, and just learn from Doty, right? Like Doty was filthy when he was our eighth inning guy. Terrible closer. Terrible fucking closer. But when Doty was like the seventh or eighth inning guy, filthy. So I'm showing you some Octavio Dotel highlights, and I'm gonna need you to bring the same shit from the same arm angle, fastball slider, and then let's try maybe and see if you can do that.
I'm gonna mention one name to you, Tim. See if you recognize the reference. Are you ready for me here?
I'm ready for it.
Galuli.
Who?
Galuli.
I do not recognize the reference here.
Okay, then I'll tell you who he worked for. Tanya Harding.
Oh, you want to do that to Christian Javier so he can't make it back?
Yeah, kneecap him.
I mean, does the fact that you've got not necessarily Javier, but Blanco, Wozniacki potentially as well coming back late July, early August, intrigue you at all?
I mean, yeah, but I think the problem is that when you look at guys when they come back from Tommy John, they're usually not who they were in that initial season, before they got hurt. And so that worries me because this sounds oddly familiar. It sounds like, didn't we do this in 2025 around the trade deadline where we just like, oh yeah, we've got pitchers.
We got all these guys. We got all these guys.
Yeah, that sounds vaguely familiar to him.
But I don't necessarily trust Dana's decision on this either, because who are your three best pitchers right now on the Astros?
Aaron Getty, obviously Lambert, and Hunter Brown.
Okay. Two of those three guys started the year in AAA for you.
Yeah.
So that to me is a big red mark against Dana Brown at this point, that your talent assessment, and we can say what we want about Aaron Getty. He doesn't seem to think he needed to be in AAA for the time period that he was, right? Like if you look at him or talk to him about it, he thought he was ready to go. So to him, it was a shock. It wasn't like the Astros had this plan of, hey, we're going to keep you close by in Sugar Land until you have your kid, then we'll bring you up. That seemed to him like it came out of left field. So Dana either is a poor communicator or a poor evaluator of talent.
Well, the problem I have in this situation is I don't know who's controlling the roster out of spring training, to tell you the truth. I don't know if this is, Dana and Joe watching the boys together, trying to decide on who the 13th pitcher is going to be. When you look at spring training, and this goes back to the lack of innings that these guys got in spring training. If you look at pure performance, Ryan Weiss, pitcher should not be named, who's back in AAA, by the way. He was out.
Did he get DFA'd?
He did, but he got route righted, so nobody picked him up. So he is back. So
he was terrible there.
Yeah, but when you looked at him in spring training, he's throwing zeros. Imai was throwing zeros. So you're looking at it and you're going like, well, we don't have room for him. And I felt like they made the right call on Teng. I don't know that they made the right call in terms of like what his role should be, but I think he was one of the best 13 pitchers. I think your problem is that you had guys that had spots emeritus. So you have LMJ. Are you going to tell LMJ, no, I'm sorry, we're going to go with Spencer Arrighetti instead? I mean, but do you think that they were in a position, particularly with the fact that his numbers were decent in spring, you're going to tell Christian Javier, no, you don't have a spot?
Yeah.
I mean, realistically.
I mean, you and I both talked that those numbers were fool's gold.
You and I
both said that. Like the exit velos on his outs were high.
But realistically, if you're a GM, are you telling those guys that you're not in rotation? Of course, part of that is they didn't build up their innings. But
I mean, there's a lot of malfeasance here. There's malfeasance, and as you said, building up the innings. There's malfeasance that no one can simply come in and be the adult in the room here and go, Jim, these were really bad fucking contracts. I'm going to be the adult here, and I'm cutting these guys, and you're going to have to eat it for this year. Christian Javier, I'm sorry. You're not an Astro anymore. Lance McCullers, I'm sorry, buddy. I love you as a human being. I love you for what you've done for this franchise. I love you as a pet owner for what you do for other pet owners. But it's time, man. You gave us, like, if he would have just fucking walked away after his first start of the season, we would have been better off. Leave us that nice taste and just go and say, I blew my arm out in the last pitch. That's it. I went out like the guy from
Dave Becky.
No, I'm thinking of Rookie of the Year, right? Where he just fucking blows it. And he has to go, he has to race to the home plate to tag the runner out because he can't even throw it home. Gary Busey is who that right. Tell me you went full Busey and you just blew that shit out on a 12-6 banger. And that start was it, guys. And I love Houston, and I'll see you later. That would have been better. But the competitor in him, I get it. But yeah, Scott, someone has to be the goddamn fucking adult in the room as the GM and say, hey, when you let Jeff Bagwell run this team, he made some mistakes, Jem.
Here's a question long term. I'm going to give you two choices. So either now or the end of the year, you clear out Dana Brown, you clear out Joe Espada, and you basically start over on your management team. So that's choice one. Choice two is you clear out Espada, you keep Dana Brown. You can call him a general manager if you want, but he's basically becomes a scouting director, and you hire a president of baseball operations.
I don't think it'll ever work. I think he'll want out of that situation anyway because his contract's up. So I don't see a world where he takes that. So I'd go one.
Because my two big problems with Dana Brown is he frees. I don't have any problems particularly with the moves that he's made per se. It's the moves that he doesn't make because he gets stuck in quicksand. Like dealing with Paredes all winter. Now, obviously, it turned out good that we didn't deal Paredes, but it wasn't a good situation for March because here Paredes has to show up to camp and wonder, am I still going to be an Astro or not? You sit there and your outfield is dog shit and you don't pick up any outfielders. You sit there and you trade these guys and you go, we're not done. So the two things that I think bother me about Brown is, number one, he gets stuck in quicksand. He doesn't make decisions fast enough. Like, to me, I would have dealt Framber Valdez in the offseason before this past season, along with Kyle Tucker. I would have made those trades. But the second thing is he cannot talk to the press anymore. I would tackle him before he goes time, because every time out, it's like, because the last time out, do you know what he said, Tim?
I don't know which necessarily dumb
Well, him and Joe
thing we're
Spadavone,
talking about.
hey, Yainer Diaz is back, baby. We're coming. Basically, he's like, I mean, he didn't say those exact words, but that was the.
I did see that one.
That
Yeah,
was,
like let's get here comes the run. We've got our catcher.
and you know what?
When we went on
game,
this run because we had Christian Vasquez calling better games.
And the one game he played, 1 for 3 with a walk. He had a walk, Tim. He had a walk. And it was on a 3-2 count. He watched the pitch on a 3-2 count. I was like, oh my God. And it's like
Happy Gilmore where he goes to throw his putter and he goes, uh-oh, what's this? Is this a new Happy Gilmore? Like that's what we're talking about. What's this? Is this a new Yainer Diaz?
Did you ever see Sanford and Son?
I did not know.
No, it's like where he would sit there and Red Fox, oh, I'm coming, because his wife was already dead. I'm coming, I felt like I was gonna pass out, and he threw out a base runner, Tim. He threw out a base runner. It was probably the best Yainer Diaz game of the year. Unbelievable. So, I don't know. Obviously, I think, and I said this before, I think Yainer Diaz is better than Colin Price. I think Yainer Diaz is definitely better than Cesar Salazar. And the gap between him and Vasquez is not great. But if you're going to tell me that you have a catcher that the pitching staff surrenders 1 fewer run a game, we'll just say. I think it's obviously the gap between them this year has been bigger than that. But I think probably when everything settles in, it's going to be about 1 run a game. Is Yainer Diaz's bat worth 1 run a game over what Christian Vasquez is going to do? And to me, that's just crazy. So I don't know what to tell you. So it's just crazy. Here we go. But yeah, so to me, I don't want Dana Brown talking to the press, and I don't want him handling the trade deadline. I'm afraid he's going to freeze or he's going to do something stupid. So the last point I was making is would you agree that when the dust settles, like it isn't, if you look at the numbers, it's not this now, but would you agree that pitchers surrender 1 fewer run a game to Vasquez than they do to Diaz?
I'd say so, yeah.
So when the dust all settles, right? So is Diaz worth 1 more run a game offensively than Vasquez?
No. Although Vasquez just snapped like an over 23.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe Hunter Goodman is, but I mean, I don't think, or maybe Shea Langoliers.
Is Jack Parkman available?
Maybe 2025 Cal Raleigh. Certainly not 2026 Cal Raleigh, because that's looking ugly, Tom. But
shimmy makes the women in Seattle puke.
They loved it last year. All right. Are we ready for that time of the week?
Yeah, Scott, I'm ready to give some awards out. Let's talk about someone that you want to just pow right in the kisser. Scott, who are you punching this week?
So I think you and I both, and I don't do this often, Tim, but I left a phone message and I sent an email to Space City Home Network, because the ad that they ran was an anti-Tallarico ad. I'm presuming it didn't mention Ken Paxton, but I'm presuming it's a Ken Paxton ad.
Probably a pack at the bottom.
Yeah. So basically what it was is an AI generated of him as a crazy hobo on the street. One of those is like ranting and raving about the end of the world. One of those kinds. It's like wearing like a wheelbarrow kind of, and I'm not crazy. I'm James Tallarico. and that was the tagline at the end. It was the most disgusting thing I'd ever seen from either party, really. And I know that we don't get involved in politics on this portion of the show, but I think everybody knows that's been a regular listener that Tim and I tend to come at things from the same side, generally speaking. And that's not the side we come from. But I basically requested that, number one, don't show any political ads during an Astros game. Just don't. But number two, if you have to check the content of the ad before you run it. You have to make sure that it meets with some minimal standard of truth and common decency, because that ad was neither. Because it's AI generated, so it's not really him. It's not really things that he said. And you're obviously depicting him as, a homeless guy. So a lot, and I know you're going to get to the responsible party of the ad later, but Space City Sports, y'all got to do better than this.
Yeah, I called as well, Scott. There's got to be a better vetting process, right? Like the vetting process can't be, will this check cash, right? Like, does that mean you and I can spend whatever it is to take an ad out on Space City Sports and just film it with my iPhone for Born on the Bayou Sports? Like, can I put a clip show together and just take ad time out on Space City Sports to be like, hey, come watch our show. We're big fucking fans. And I got 27 more seconds. What do you guys want to talk about? Oh man, this goes a lot longer than I thought. Hey, I got the cash, right? Like, is that literally all that it takes to get a commercial? Because like this is absurd, right? The level of propaganda that we're at is absolutely absurd. If you like, it's the old phrase is, if you don't have the facts on your side, or bang on the table loud. If you don't have the facts or the jury on your side, bang on the table loud and make a lot of noise. And that's essentially what they're doing, right? Like, the facts are Tallarico is a better candidate. Like, I don't care if you put these guys on a ballot without names and just listed their accolades and also the negative things that they have against them, legitimate negative things, not Fox News negative things. I'm talking about being indicted by the federal government. I'm talking about being impeached by your own party and then being caught, like firing the whistleblowers who let everybody. I'm talking about cheating on your fucking wife and at the same time acting holier than thou and not allowing Texans to go watch porn sites because it's so goddamn bad. But maybe if he would have watched a few more sites and not cheat on his fucking wife, he'd still be married right now. Who the fuck knows? All I'm saying is, you allow a situation where anybody with money can come buy an ad in a baseball game. I'm just trying to fucking watch the Astros. I've seen a lot of rough ones this year, Scott, and they're only going to get worse, but there's got to be a safe space, right? And I know Republicans love to make fun of that. This, and not let us have, you don't need a safe space. Well, fuck off, man. It's like, can we just watch a baseball game and see commercials for Budweiser and fucking hot dogs and HEB and Chevy and, fucking Serve Pro or whoever else got a sign in the outfield? That's just ads,
man.
Just, give me a Chick-fil-A ad. They got a sign. If you got a fucking sign, you can have an ad, right? They've got to do a better job of vetting it.
All right, Tim, who you got?
I want to punch we're going to call them the Giants Force, Scott. Landon Raup, JT Brubaker, Ryan Walker, and Sam Hentges, who did a combination of writing a Bible verse, kind of claiming the rainbow isn't what pride people say it is. And another guy, Sam Hentges, who refused to wear the pride hat because he was so Christian. He didn't morally support Pride Night. Scott, it's really disappointing. Number one, I don't know if people know this. Like, the Giants are one of the most forward acting organizations in Major League Baseball, right? Like, they did a Stomp AIDS Out Stomp AIDS Out night in the 90s. They were the first team to have pride specific uniforms. They're very engaged with the community. So for number one, for it to come from this team, really kind of disappointing. Number two, it's so goddamn fucking performative, Scott. It's so fucking performative. It's ridiculous. The fact that these guys know that they can just write a Bible verse on their baseball cap and get away with it, and that everybody's going to look at it and they're going to talk about it. And it's so frustrating because, if you want to say in Christianity that homosexuality is a sin, which I don't necessarily believe it is, but if you want to say that it is, my argument is that it literally says in the Bible that we are all sinners and we need to ask for forgiveness and we'll be forgiven, right? That's what. So
remember that.
Homosexuality is one of those sins, right? So just one sinner fucking judging another sinner. Doesn't matter what the sins are. Sins are fucking sins, right? And unless you're Catholic, I don't think you're getting into moral and venial sins, right? Like, I don't think the mega church that most of these fucking douches attend are talking about, how many checks you have in your soul and how much time you'll be in purgatory based on the mortal and venial sins that you've committed throughout your life. But at the end of the day, right, we're all sinners. That's the basis of Christianity, is that we have to accept that we are sinners, and we have to accept that everybody else is a sinner around us, and we have to try and be so fucking nice to people and be inclusive and loving that we can all come to the church and ask for forgiveness together and give our sins forgiven and go to heaven, right? But what this is not love. This is bigotry. This is hate. It's disgusting. And this is one of those situations, Scott, where I'd want you to put them in a circle and I could just fucking windmill right around and take them out one at a time.
Yeah. Plus, you got to read the room, like you said. San Francisco.
San Francisco
is a pretty progressive community. Last time I checked, and I think why are you, in this day and age, and this is what I don't understand. What sport is number one in America?
It's football.
By leaps and bounds, right?
Yeah.
Now, what would you say is number two?
Basketball.
Okay, so if you're going to go there and you're a baseball player, why in the hell are you slapping the face of any fan? I mean, right. You'd want to be welcoming to every fan.
Do you think baseball's too?
I mean, well, I don't know, but if you're going to make,
I think more people watch the finals than they do the World Series.
Well, I mean, that's probably true. And so what I'm saying, though, is that if you're number three out of the big three, which I'm sorry, hockey doesn't count, then you need to do whatever you can to attract fans, which means not pissing any fans off.
Totally agree. And I think there are many passionate, rabid LGBTQ plus Astros fans. I know a lot of them. I know several. Like, I worked with a couple lesbians who were huge Astros fans, season ticket holders, diehards. They're married. They've been going to games forever. Love the game. Love the Astros. Right? Like, that's a strong part of the Astros fan base is the LGBTQ plus community. So you can't fucking flip those people the bird. I'm glad the Astros handled the way they do. Typically, they handle those night with class. But, the Rangers didn't do one. Some of the players on teams that are doing them are doing these quote-unquote individual protests for religious reasons. And I got to know. I don't know, Scott. Like, I feel like I had a pretty good relationship with Father JJ. I'm not going to say I know everything that Father JJ thought, but I'm going to say, like, I had a lot of talks with Father JJ, a priest that you and I both had a good relationship with, right? And knew well. If someone in youth group came out to Father JJ, do you think he's casting him out of the church as a sinner? Or is he going to say, I still love you as one of God's children, and hey, whatever support you need, I'm here for you, whether you get it at home or not? Because from the father JJ I remembered, I think it's the latter. Nancy, whole other fucking question. When father, for those who went to St. B's, you know if you know. But to me, Father JJ, right, the man who was the pastor of our church, if you had a teen who made a meeting with him and said, I can't tell anybody, I'm gay, I don't know what to do, I feel like God hates me, whatever it is, right? I guarantee you that conversation with Father JJ would have been, here's a hug, God still loves you, all those things. And so it's just so frustrating, Scott.
So in all fairness, before I move on to the next category, I don't think Nancy would have condemned. I think what would have happened, she would say, hey, Scott, can you handle this? Yeah, I know I'm the one getting paid, but can you
Hey, Scott, I'm going to need you to come in on Saturday.
Can you and Caesar and Amy, can y'all handle this? Yeah.
Oh, can you guys powwow this situation on a retreat for me? We need like a. Do you guys have any scared straight literature that you could look at?
Okay.
She'd ask you to take him on a camping trip and don't come back till he's straight.
Okay, so moving on to our horse's ass. God, I hate that I'm doing this. But again, I got to go where sports and culture kind of bleed together here, Tim. Josh Hokett. Why do I even want to know that name? You know who I'm talking about here?
I do, but I don't want to because I don't watch UFC.
I don't watch UFC either. I don't get, I enjoyed the Rocky movies.
Were you a boxing guy? Like, did you watch boxing?
I did not watch like regular boxing.
Okay.
I might have watched like back in the day, like you had like Sugar Ray Leonard or something like that. Like it was one of the big legendary fights, but
yeah,
I wasn't a big boxing fan. I like the Rocky movies, I like John Claude Van Damme movies, for, whenever you just want to get some rage out. But no, I'm not an MMA guy. I respect that. I'm sure it's difficult. I know, unlike wrestling, it's real. So, hey, go for it. I don't think it needs to be in the front lawn of the White House, which belongs to us. The majority of the country, I think well over 80% of the country was not for this. And I think if that percentage of the country is against it, you shouldn't be doing it. But what he did is he came out after winning his fight, good for him, and he said, hey, Michelle Obama's a man. Good Lord, what a jackass. And, and of course, what makes it worse is that I think Rogan did some pushback a little bit, but I think the majority of the people there were like, yeah, man, yeah. And it's just like, she hasn't been in politics really since 2017 when they left the White House. That's January 2017. So why are we still worried about Michelle Obama? Why is that even a thing?
I don't even know, really. Like, she wasn't the president, right? Like, because they still talk shit about Obama, period. Like, Barack Obama. Like, anything that's bad, it's Barack's this, Barack's deal, Barack's whatever. It's just such racism. At the end of the day, it's all it is, right? Like, it is a racist comment from a guy who, let's face it, is uneducated. Because there was one educated UFC fighter who came out and made some strong fucking comments. That guy was on point, and then they arrested him. And because he didn't have a ticket to be at the event, and he was like in the fan fest part of it, and they arrested him and took him out. But it looked very WWE, and now that they're owned by the WWE, you can never tell like what's kayfabe and what's real.
Yeah, exactly. All right, who you got, Tim?
This is horse's ass. I've got Sorsby from I guess formerly Texas Tech and whatever gambling rehab facility he spent his time at. This guy, and again, this is the get out of town one, right? Like, this guy flees Texas Tech, comes in, gets a fat check, never plays a fucking down, torches the university's reputation just by being associated with him. University goes to bat for him, alienates itself against the entire Big 12, dare I say, the entire, playoff landscape by pushing for this guy. You hire top-notch fucking douchebag lawyers, you sue the NCAA, you get an injunction, and then you just go, you know what? I'm gonna go to the NFL. I know all these balls are in motion. I know all this stuff is happening. I know I've done all these different things, and it's looking like it may not go my way. So after doing all of that and taking a giant deuce on the city of Lubbock, I'm going to take my check. I appreciate it. Thank you again for writing that out to cash. And I'm going to go pro. I'm going pro, guys. I'm going pro.
Hey, so, I'm gonna lay 2-1 odds he doesn't get drafted. But I was gonna say though, one of the things I do wonder is because obviously NIL, it's not supposed to be from the university. It's supposed to be from businesses through the university, right? So if you're from Joe Blow Ford in Lubbock, and you wrote, let's say, $100,000 check, aren't you suing to get that back?
Yeah.
I would think so, right?
Yeah. I'd like to think so.
But yeah, that's a good call there. And that situation is going to come up a little bit later. Are you ready for some positive vibes?
Always ready for positive vibes, Scott. I think you're going to really like my hat tip this week.
Mine, I'm going to hat tip, and this is going to seem, kind of lame, but Reynel Delgado. He has played all of 2 games. Well, he actually came in today's game. So he's technically played in 3 games with the Astros, but really it's been 2. And has the game-winning hit in the Hunter Brown game. Is Reynel Delgado good? No, he's not. I mean, is he better than Shea Wickham? Maybe. I don't know. I think you're rearranging deck chairs at that point. But the guy had his moment. And I think every professional athlete, he can tell his grandkids, I was standing in there in the 8th inning. Runners on every base. It was left all up to me, kids. I had to get the hit to win the game. And I came through, baby. Let's ignore that, Pena came up and had another knock, but we'll ignore that.
I think Hummel has one of those stories too.
I'm sure he does. And you know what? He deserves it. Hey, would you and I love to have that story?
Fuck yeah, we would.
I mean, so I'm going to give him that hat tip. I'm going to give him his flowers.
All right. I am going to hat tip ranch dressing. Scott, do you know what phenomenon is happening in United States airports right now?
Are they selling ranch dressing for exorbitant fees?
No. Europeans are going back home with full bottles sealed of ranch dressing in their carry-on luggage because they've just fallen in love with it here in America after trying it at the World Cup. And they're now having it taken out because you need to check that shit because we got rules of how much liquid you can have in a carry-on bag. So TSA is putting out announcements to people returning to the airport after attending the World Cup and having fallen in love with ranch dressing here in America that you need to check that shit in your checked bag. Don't put it in your carry-on. So I am going to tip my cap to America's favorite fucking condiment, ranch dressing, for getting the love it deserves on the national fucking stage, Scott.
Is it really a liquid, or is it kind of like a viscous,
I don't think you want to go down that road. I think,
I think
restaurant ranch and bottle ranch are totally different viscosities.
But if you're going to say I don't know why anybody would do this, but I want to bring Jell-O in a carry-on. I mean, they can't make you get rid of that. It's not really a liquid, is it?
I think they can. That's absolutely liquid. Either way.
Either
way, I'm happy to see ranch getting its due because I think, we're the pizza dippers, we're the French fry dipper. We dip everything in fucking ranch here, baby. It's what we do. And everybody else in the world needs to start dipping their shit in ranch dressing.
Well, you know what, Tim? We went out because we have like all of our anniversaries in the family are right around the same time. And Janet's actually going to be out of town for our anniversary this next Monday. So we went, the 7 of us went to Taste of Texas. I don't know. Have you heard of this place?
Yes, it's like they walk around meat and slice it place, right?
Well, it's one of those where you can choose your own steak, or you can just trust them to choose it. Like you can you can point
like Roadhouse.
Yeah,
but probably a lot nicer.
Yeah, or a lot nicer. Like we're talking like a $300 bill at the end of the night. But they have their own salad bar. And their salad bar is so popular, they've actually put on the menu that you can only go once to the salad bar.
I'm loading like 3 plates up.
Yeah. But you know what dressing I put on that sucker?
Ranch.
Dude,
steakhouse ranch dressing has the viscosity that's what I'm talking about, Scott. Viscosity of restaurant ranch dressing is much thinner. It's much looser. Although I will say, if you've never had Outback ranch dressing, get a little kick to it, a little nice zest. Really like that one.
Hey,
I love ranch. I really do. And there's different restaurants make their ranch a little bit differently. So different restaurants have better ranch.
We had a taco salad during Teacher Appreciation Week. And I got to tell you, the culinary kids made some ranch dressing. That stuff was pretty damn good. I mean, it was not like out of the bottle ranch dressing. I mean, that stuff was made from scratch.
Scratch ranch dressing is, if you can get it right, you got to use buttermilk though. That's the difference, in my opinion.
All right, so that's who you got, ranch. So
ranch dressing is my hat tip. I thought you'd enjoy that.
Our favorite segment of the week, our second favorite segment of the week now. So for Scumbag, I'm going with the other half of that equation, Tim, that you mentioned earlier. And I am going with all apologies to Haley, Texas Tech University. Because I'm sorry. I know that you shelled out a lot for that guy. I know that you put a lot of, where was he before he was at Tech?
Cincinnati.
Yeah. So, okay, great. You got him from inside the conference, but you got to cut bait on that.
Yeah.
You cannot risk having the entire Big Ten, which is somehow the Big 18. You can't have the Big Ten sitting there saying, we're not scheduling you. I mean, that's stupid. A $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 million quarterback is not worth that. And you made it to the playoffs without
a shit quarterback, with a shitty quarterback.
You made it to the playoff without him because you loaded up on defense and you had a heck of a season. And to me, the sooner that you cut bait, see now, recruiting season's done. So you're just like, who's our backup quarterback? Is it we're going to go with the guy we had last year? Is he still with us? Shit, I don't know. But like if you had cut him when all this stuff came out, because what was this come out? What, February or March?
I think so, yeah.
You would have had a chance to get somebody to maybe transfer over. But instead you're like, oh, we're going to back our horse. Come on. When you found out he's making bets on games, shit, man. I mean, and that's why I don't see him going to the NFL, in all honesty, is I don't think that teams are going to want to touch that.
Dude, there's top draft analysts that think he could be a first or second round supplementary pick. Like you and I have talked about, but there's teams I didn't even think of, right? Like what if you're the Steelers and you constantly play well enough to like never really have a chance at one of the top guys, and this guy has top level talent, and you could throw a second round pick at it, or maybe even a late first round pick at it, and get one of the top level quarterbacks and have him sit for a year under Aaron Rodgers, and you have access to a guy that you never would have had access to previously. And that's a level that I didn't go to with it.
Did you bet? Didn't they get the guy from Ohio State? in the
Yeah, but he
draft?
wasn't a first. The Raiders did. It was Terrell Pryor. I believe he was a third or
No,
fourth
no, no,
rounder.
no. This year's Ohio State quarterback, I think, ended up going to the Steelers.
Oh no, Science. He stayed. He wasn't. He didn't go.
Somebody, they got somebody. And my thing is that, well, number one, the Steelers, because I don't know how Aaron Rodgers fits there, to be honest, because it takes a certain culture. I mean, Russell Wilson failed there.
I mean, he won the division there last year.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, in terms of like a cultural fit, because I don't know. I mean, I guess Ben Roethlisberger made it there, so and he was a scumbag. So maybe
I think Pittsburgh's the kind of place that, like, to go back to the well again. Jack Parkman, right? Like, Pittsburgh, the kind of place that, before you got here, I used to hate that shimmy, but now the women in Cleveland love it, right? Like, I think it's one of those kind of places where they probably talk so much shit about Aaron Rodgers, and they became his guy, and you're like, he's just a cerebral guy. So what if he goes to a hut for a while? That's just what his brain needs to relax, be able to do all the film breakdown they do throughout the year. If you looked at that much film, you'd need to go to a hut and drink peyote too, just to let your mind turn off, bro. Calm down. He's a genius.
Go to a dark retreat. All right, Tim, who you got?
I am going to nominate our wonderful Attorney General Ken Paxton. And I'm going to keep it sports related, Scott. He gave me the opportunity when in the middle of the Brendan Sorsby, as this guy's taking up a lot of our awards. Ken Paxton inserts himself, Scott, into the ring in the Royal Rumble. Comes Ken Paxton, and he starts threatening to sue. If you don't let Big 12, if you don't let Brendan Sorsby on Texas Tech play, I'm coming in. I'm suing all y'all. Let's not forget, within the Big 12, there are other Texas schools, right? And also another Texas public university, one often overlooked, my fucking Cougs right here, my Cougs public university in Texas. You've also got Waco, and you've got that other school in Fort Worth that constantly disappoints and people don't really talk about because they really, really stupid color that's not really for men. But Scott, sorry. But no, but either way, right? Like, your job is to represent all Texans. And you fucking pick, you're gonna I'm gonna fucking saddle up with Tech. That's who I'm gonna fucking burn it down with. Let's go. Fuck you, man. Like, you're so easily bought and sold. You're just another NIL check to these motherfuckers. Those billionaires have so much goddamn money. They wrote a check to you too. They bought a roster and they bought the attorney fucking general. And it's so obvious, Scott. And I don't even like any of the government in Oklahoma, but now their attorney general's pulling his dick out in this dick measuring contest, saying, "You sue me, I'll sue you right back, motherfucker." And here we go. And it's just absurd, right? Like, anytime there's the Ted Cruz curse, right? Like, anytime Ted Cruz shows up to root for your team in a big game, like, it's never a good idea. Anytime Ken Paxton involves himself in something, you know what the wrong side of the argument is. It's the side Ken Paxton is on. So what side was Ken Paxton on this time? Oh, he's siding with Texas Tech? Okay, that's the wrong side.
See, here's the thing, Tim, and I'm going to mention a name to you that you're probably not going to have any idea who this is. Trayvon Boykin.
I remember that.
So he was TCU's quarterback. Probably, I would say, better than Max Duggan.
But I remember him, yeah.
Right before the Alamo Bowl, he gets arrested. Now, did Gary Patterson...
Guys aren't allowed to have a good time anymore.
Did Gary Patterson do fruit basket turnover and say, like, oh, we're going to try and find a way for him to be our quarterback in the bowl game? No. He has sat his ass down, and we had the biggest comeback in Alamo Bowl history. I was in attendance for that one, against the Oregon Ducks. But to me, and Trayvon Boykin now has done nothing but get in trouble since then. See, that's where I think sort of his future is that he's kind of like Johnny Manziel that way, where you're gonna be a douchebag, for the rest of your days. And that's probably his fate. So why do you go into the mat for a douchebag?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Scott. Although I do think he's going to get drafted. I do think somebody's going to make that mistake on him. I don't think it's going to go well, but I do think there are enough stupid teams in the NFL. The Jets exist. They're always in the need of quarterback. The Browns are a thing. They could throw a pick at it. Somebody even mentioned the Vikings, right? You've only got what's his face there on a one year deal. Kyle Miller's on a 1 year deal, and then McCarthy.
Did you see what McCarthy? Did you see what McCarthy did to Murray on their first meal out together?
No, do we stick it with a check?
No, it was worse. He had the waitress bring him a child's menu. You know, where you color.
That's classic.
And it pissed him off. Like, yeah, that's the way to get off on the right foot.
Did he bring him double crayons though? Because he grips it kind of tight. He always breaks them. He's a fucking kidder. Okay, this is your warning to get out of here if you don't like the special comment section. But we are going to have one, and it's coming. So if you don't like it, then now's your time to get out. I don't know what else you want me to say, Scott. Anything you want to add?
Nope. But it's your week.
It is, and let's see what I have for the people. Do you want to go Trump first, or do you want to do
whichever
non-Trump first?
Whichever is easier for you.
Let us. I'm looking for the one that you sent to me. Let us go non-Trump first. Oh yeah. Again, we've kind of switched away from just quotes to situations, or what would you call it? What do you even call this thing? Organizations?
Yes.
But Scott,
it's a conference.
Scott sent me a wonderful conference flyer for something called Muscular Christianity. And it's absolutely wonderful. First of all, when you look at this image, there's like probably 15 guys on this image in like little circle images. Like 13 of them are not muscular, like at all. There's a lot of like really fucking skinny guys and some chunky guys, but there's not one guy on there where I'm like, whoa, that guy's fucking yoked, man. Like, wow.
Okay. So if Sorsby were at this conference, what are the odds that he would give you that one of these guys would be on Grindr?
Yeah. Fuck, man. He's
not even money.
No, he's gonna it's gonna be bad odds for you because the odds of them being on Grindr are high. So yeah, why? If you want to argue, like, because what they hate on Tallarico for, right, for saying is like God's not a celestial, like God's not a man, right? Like God is a thing in the universe, right? But like you can't be like, there's God's body and that's him, right? They got on him for saying God's not a man. But like, not only that, why do God and Jesus, like, why do they have to be hot? Have you ever seen like a picture of Jesus where he's like kind of slovenly looking, or like maybe not like well groomed? Because this was, before the time of a mirror or like the ability to regularly bathe yourself. So the odds of Jesus having fresh running water and baths all the time and keeping the fucking cheeks clean shaven while this perfect, gorgeous beard grows on the side of his face are pretty limited. And also, seems like he was pretty busy doing the whole miracles and walking around and talking to people. I don't know when he had time to hit the gym, or I don't know if he was doing like the Rocky IV fucking weight lift with the rocks, where like he's just sitting out there just like, Judas, push it.
He's omnipotent, Tim.
So the muscles just come.
Yeah,
he's like Hercules.
Snap there, and Snap, a barber comes in, shaves him,
every picture of Jesus, he's hot, right? Like objectively, like it's hot Jesus, hot God. And with God, it's like he's taller and he's bigger, but he's still just ripped to shit. And then like he's got this robe where like it shows his pecs always. There's always like, you got to show God's pecs. We can't paint God without letting you see that God does push-ups while he's looking down on us. Okay. God's got pecs. Everybody knows that. So we're going to paint this robe and just show our pecs. And then I don't know. Have you ever seen God not have Jeff Bagwell jacked arms? Because he looks like fucking Mark McGuire in every painting I've ever seen. Is God just fucking yoked?
See, my favorite is, did you ever watch the movie Dogma?
Yeah, I love that movie.
I love Buddy Jesus.
So sadly, like in a way, one of the more religiously accurate movies out there, even though it's such a joke. Like there's a lot of things that are straight from the Bible in that movie.
In all seriousness, folks, and a serious moment, Tim and I are well versed in the Passion story, right?
Yes.
You with me here?
I am.
Is Jesus able to carry his cross the whole way?
No, he struggled, man. He needed a little help along the way. I think 3 times, right? Jesus stumbles the first time. Jesus stumbles the second time.
Well,
Jesus...
he brought in just a random guy, Joseph.
Yeah.
And so to carry it the rest of the way. So the fact that you have this jacked,
Jack Jesus.
I'm going to do tire flips while I'm carrying the cross.
Even in South Park, Jesus had to get on steroids to do his miracles. Okay. He couldn't do them without fucking doing steroids. So where did this jacked version come from?
So, yeah. And the whole thing is the tagline underneath it is the serious part where we're preparing. I think it said preparing for spiritual warfare. Who exactly are we fighting, Tim?
Well, I think they think they're fighting Muslims, Scott. The takeover. We're about to be under Sharia law. Haven't you heard? It's coming. It's coming, man. Fucking be ready, Scott. Right. It's religious. It's the fucking Crusades all over again, man.
All right, that's a strong contender.
I thought so. I thought that was pretty good. Bill Cassidy, after learning of the Iran deal, said Reagan is rolling over in his grave right now.
Maybe you can hook up a turbine to him, get some electricity going.
Ted Cruz, this deal is worse than Obama's Iran deal.
The favorite tweet I saw was that liberals are saying this is 1,000 times worse. Man, they're so exaggerating. The 324 million is actually only 100 times more than what Obama paid. So it's only 100 times worse. Stop exaggerating.
Stop exaggerating already. Hang on. I had some pride ones in here. Sarah Huckabee Sanders declared June Fidelity Month and promoted it as a celebration of fidelity to God, family, community, and country. Why can't we have pride? Like, what's wrong with being proud? Like, it doesn't say proud of my dick sucking ability. It doesn't say proud of my gayness. It's just pride. It is Pride Month, right? Like, if you want to be an asshole about it, be proud of being American. I don't give a fuck. But we got to stop the ridiculousness.
It's not only that, but that's coming from the energy of the kid in first grade that raised their hand and asked why we don't have a White History Month.
Right? There's always one.
There's always one, right? There's always, why do we need a Juneteenth? Why do we need Indigenous Peoples Day? Like, can we celebrate a homicidal jackass, and like we did all before, why can't we do that? And so that's what I don't get. It's like every other month is heterosexual month. Let them have their month. I don't,
I mean, people died in this country for homosexual men and women and trans men and women to have the rights that they have. There were riots. The fucking Stonewall riots are insane. For anyone who wants to do a little bit of reading, go look up Stonewall and come back and tell me, after reading about the conditions that those people had to live in and what happened that night, that these people don't deserve a little bit of ability to celebrate how far that they've come. That's all that it is. That's all that is a celebration of how far they've come in this country for the fight that they've had to fucking put on just to live a life like you and I get to live every single day.
All right. Are you out on the non-Trump?
I got a couple more.
I got a couple more. Okay, here we go.
Situation, more than a quote. Josh Hawley is launching an investigation into baseball hats because he thinks that Christian athletes are being singled out and he asks for records of prior uniform policy enforcement. And that's all I got before Trump.
I am banging my head on the desk here, Tim. No, you can't see that on camera.
Great use of government resources, right?
Yeah. Damn. Whatever. All right. So you want me to declare a winner?
Yeah, it's got to be muscular Christianity. It's muscular Christianity. But the question is, does muscular Christianity beat erection connection? Because I think it might.
I thought we already knocked an erection connection off.
Did we? What was the one that we were going against?
Oh God, I'm gonna have to look up mine. You're gonna make me look. Oh man,
I thought erection connection might have been a 2-time reigner.
It was. We ended up. Let me see. Hold on a second.
I don't know. Whatever it is, muscular Christianity is a lasting winner to me. Like that is. It's just so absurd. Like the only thing that could have made it worse is if it was like Christianity downrange, and it's like a gun range Christianity version where you like shoot guns and talk about Jesus.
I want to say we beat. It was either RFK playing with snakes.
Oh God!
Or Eric Jr. saying that his dad doesn't need any intelligence.
I'm still going to go muscular Christianity. Yeah. And I'd also like to come up with a conference where we could shoot guns and talk about Jesus. And I want to call it Christianity Downrange. And
ammunition.
Let's start getting our speakers together. Ideally, I don't want any of us to own a gun. Like I want no gun safety at this event. I want like the guy from King of the Hill who was missing fingers out there.
Well, no. I got the guy. The guy who's the leader of the Proud Boys.
I don't want to be anywhere near Enrique Tarrio, please.
But he's got an eye patch. You know why he's got an eye patch?
Probably from a gun range incident.
Because he shut his eye out.
As funny as that is, I don't want to be around. I want people who have never fired a gun before because the muscular Christianity had no muscles. So I need everybody needs to have like a Nerf gun or a squirt gun or like different kinds of like non-bullet firing guns in their picture, like a paintball gun, airsoft gun, all sorts of stuff, but no one can have a real gun, and it's going to be Christianity downrange.
All right. Okay, you got...
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Rapid fire Christianity.
There you go. All right, Tim, you got me on the edge of my seat here for Trump.
Okay. I don't know how many, but we'll see what we got. Trump was asked by a reporter if there's a scenario in which he looks like a genius if he sends Vance to sign the deal and if things work out, or if he blames his number two if things with Iran ultimately don't work out. I like the idea. Sure. This way, if it works out, I'm going to take the credit. If it doesn't work out, I'm blaming JD. You better be careful, JD.
I heard that one. Yeah. Come on. You know, how these people work for him and they think he's going to be loyal to me. I just don't get it. I don't know.
But it's just like the fact that he's just out there, like, if it goes well, it's 100% on me. And if it doesn't go well, JD Vance is a real piece of shit and failed the American people. And people hear that and don't go, wow, what a fucking crazy lunatic. But yeah. Also, I don't know how to rank this. I don't know how to say this. But in the negotiations, the Iranian government is bringing along psychological experts to dumb down the negotiations so that way Trump understands them better and things go better. They brought in like psychologists during the meetings to examine his mental state. And then they're like, okay, this is what you're dealing with. And then they're like dumbing everything down based on that. So I think that's its own thing. I don't know how we want to enter that into the context, but that's certainly something that's happening.
Camel.
I think somehow the quote that we have a done deal with Iran, even though it's not done yet, right? It's not done because when people got mad about the deal, he came back and said it's not done. So again, for the God knows how many time
39.
39th time we have a done deal. And then finally, I think the best one is while you're in the middle of negotiating, right? You've given them, I think it was half of the 25 billion to enter the negotiation table, right? And then the other half comes at the end is the way this is working out, correct? The way the parlay is set up, like they had to put their money where their mouth is to even enter the negotiation table. Trump comes out and says, if they don't behave, the bombings could resume. Like what this is the fucking art of the deal? This is the master negotiator that this is at work? This is the king of New York real estate that we're dealing with here, who paid billions of dollars to be at the fucking negotiating table and then saying they better be on their best behavior. I'm going to fucking blow them up. Like this is there is no Bond villain that is this evil. There is no Bond villain. Like this is like even Dr. Evil isn't this fucking stupid. These are you could take a collection of the worst villains from all the corny spoof action hero movies you've ever seen in your life, combine them into one, and you still wouldn't have the dumbassery of paying $12.5 billion to sit down at a negotiating table, then the next day going to a G7 conference and publicly saying, I might still blow them up.
Well, I'd like to throw another one in here, Tim.
Always welcome. And if falling asleep at the G7 conference is one of them, that's option 2.
That is an option. You know that he has magical powers?
Of course, he's Donald Trump.
Because
he hasn't died yet.
He was talking about how how great Qatar was to work with. And he said, it's really close to Iran. You can walk from Qatar to Iran. The guy can breathe underwater, Tim.
No, he can walk on water because he's literally Jesus, obviously. And let's add in situationally that this man showed up to Madison Square Garden, was overwhelmingly booed, right? If there's 30,000 people in that crowd, 27,000 of them were on their feet yelling, fuck you, boo, whatever.
During the national anthem.
During the national anthem, which we all kind of like came back and said, like, it really sucks for the guy who sang it because he actually did a really nice job. And it sucks for him that this was his night. However, you then get out of that event and talk about the warm welcome of the New York people. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, other than the fact that, like, maybe in New York, like, hey, fuck you, get out of my way. Like, that is a greeting to some people. But I'd have to think you could recognize within yourself that 27,000 people telling you to go fuck yourself in unison at once during the national anthem wasn't exactly a warm welcome.
I think I'm going to have to go with I'm going to roll into 2 combined. I'm going to have to go with all the Iranian negotiations and throw in the fact that they're bringing in psychologists in order to, to dumb it down for them. Because, I mean, this is 39 times. Because I wrote a piece before they announced that they actually had an agreement, because he's been saying this every week.
And the sad part? The sad part is, and I'm not going to name names, but I was at my family vacation with someone having a conversation who raised me, who's older and a man. Again, not naming names, but some of his people, like he literally said, Iran keeps backing away, and that's why this happened. I'm like, what? I'm sorry. Like, I'm pretty sure he just comes out and says whatever the fuck he wants, and it's not true. And he's lied his entire life, and he's lied again and again and again and again. And even in the midst of all of this, you still go, he's not lying. They keep backing. They're the ones who keep backing away and coming back, backing away and coming back. That's what people do. Yeah.
Well, my favorite part of that whole thing was that when he came back, all these people, they keep saying this, the Democrats, they keep saying that we're giving them $300 million. That is categorically not true. And it's like, yeah, it's not true because you're giving them $300 billion.
With a B.
With a B.
With a B. I want $1 million.
100.
Wait. Nope. $1 billion. I'd like to think Trump does this at the negotiation table. Like, I'd like to think
I love when they go back and you have like Tim Robbins playing, would be Nixon. It's 1969. We know $100 billion. It's like I'm going to give $100 billion. He said, Yeah. Don't we have nukes at the yin yang? Oh, can I blow up the moon? Sir, are you honestly suggesting we blow up the moon? Would you miss it? Would you miss it?
You want to deal with bad tides, motherfuckers? It's on.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. So that whole negotiation, because it's not over yet, Tim.
No.
And you know, there's.
Of course it's not. He's threatening to bomb them in the middle of it. And Israel is pissed. They're saying the war continues in Lebanon. And we're like, no more strikes in Lebanon. We're done. And maybe that's why you don't get blackmailed by a war-hungry country in the Middle East for having underage relations with minors like a pedophile would. Yeah. Hey, just asking questions, though. This is all hypotheticals. I'm just asking questions. Allegedly, there's not a list. There's not a place to go read the list. It's not in many, many books that anybody could go sit down and read now. All right. That is going to do it for us this week. Scott, you are on the hot seat next week for our fun quotes. But we appreciate everybody who joined us, and we will see you next time on Born on the Bayou Sports.